Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. Today, this is going to be our first recipe that we start from a new cookbook, but it will probably not be the first recipe you see from this cookbook because this recipe has two different, what do they call it, aging times. The first is the longest, and it takes about a month. So we're getting started now, and we'll probably have this around the 4th of July. So yay. Today we're going to be working from the Dishoom cookbook. This is it's from a chain of restaurants in the UK mostly. There might be some in the US, but none near me. We went to one in London when we were there last summer. And it is sort of an upscale Indian restaurant. I think mostly from like Bombay. That's what the name of the book includes, Bombay. So we're starting with this one. I've got tons of recipes marked. My husband is very excited because Indian is one of his favorite types of food to eat. But today we're going to be starting Viceroy's Old Fashioned. We love bourbon. I love bourbon anyway. And the Old Fashioned is one of my favorite drinks. So I can't remember if I tried this there. I'll go back and look at my pictures. And for the outro, when we actually try this, I will let you know. I probably ordered this, honestly. Anyway, but they had a lot of different drinks at the restaurant. But we need to start by making green tea. So I have my kettle on. It's already boiled once. I'm just going to bring it back up to boiling. And while that happens, I'm going to get my tea bags into this measuring cup that can take boiling water. See? So there is, yeah. So I'm going to measure both with my scale and this and kind of see if the scale is on track with the volume. I don't know. Okay, so the scale is way different than this. Might as well go by the scale. Oop, it's a little much, but that's okay because we're going to be boiling this down later. Now we basically just let this sit for 5 minutes and make a strong green tea. So it's been a little more than 5 minutes because we had some drama. Anyway, taking out the green tea bags, I'm supposed to give them a little squeeze. And then these can go in the trash. So the next stage is making kind of a caramel reduction. So in here, I have some dark brown sugar. You can see dark brown sugar. And then bay leaves. So I've already measured all that out by weight. That's the good thing about this book. A lot of it is by weight because it's, British influence. But we're going to take our green tea that we made and just pour it in here with that. We're going to put this on low heat until the sugar is dissolved. And then we let it reduce to a thick dark brown caramel for about 10 minutes. So I'll get that started and I'll show you what I think it should be like when it's done. I've got a plate in the freezer because we should be able to test it by putting a tiny amount, they say, onto an ice cube. I'm just going to put it onto the plate that's been in the freezer, and it should thicken to the consistency of black treacle, which, in the US, hardly anybody knows, but it's like a really thick molasses kind of consistency. But we don't want it to set completely. I'll show you when I think it's done and let you know how long it takes us. So I've got this on kind of medium-high heat, and this is what it looks like while there is still quite a bit of water in it. So we're kind of waiting for most of that to boil off and it to thicken up into a caramel. So I think we're already, I don't know, 8 or so minutes in, but that was with the waiting for the sugar to melt before I turned it up. So you can kind of see, okay, you can see the nature of the bubbling has changed a lot. I'm going to check to see if this is done. I'm going to get my plate out of the freezer and be right back. This is my frozen plate. It's pretty thick, but I think I'm going to give it another minute or so. That is what the bubbles look like right now. I'm going to get my plate back out of the freezer. It's definitely a little bit thicker. Ooh, very hot still. I'm going to call that done. I think that's good. I'm going to put this right here on my granite countertops. Don't do this if you don't have actual stone countertops. This needs to cool for about 30 minutes. Not fully cool, but not super hot from the stove. So we're going to let this cool for 30 minutes and we'll be back to finish it up. This is super thick. I should have taken the bay leaves out earlier, which I should have read, but that's all right. So we're not using all of this, I don't think, which is good because I might have to scrape some off of these bay leaves. I will know for next time, because if I love it, I'm sure I will make it again, right? Okay, this has been cooling for a while. I decided that I would go with my scale for both measurements. So I went ahead and measured out my bourbon. The recipe calls for a dry, spicy bourbon, such as Woodford Reserve, which is what I decided to go ahead and buy. Since I'm generally not a dry, spicy bourbon kind of girl, so I had to buy something for this. And might as well buy what the recipe says. Or you can use rye. So now I have the whiskey, and now I need to add some of this into there. I should have taken out the bay leaves. Oh, there's more. There's more. Because it is very caramelly now, and it is not super easy to get them out at this point. I can always throw these back in here and heat it up a little bit to get them off, but we're going to see if we can get enough out of here as is. Yeah, we're gonna heat this up a little bit because this is not working for me. So we're just gonna heat it up, redo this just a little because it is so thick. All right, we're making the best of a bad situation here. My bay leaves got all crunchy, so we're gonna have to kind of get them out in a all right. Added just a little bit of water because I think I went a tiny bit too far. So what I'm going to do is try to get should have done this without that. Oh, this is going to be awful. All right, it's going to be what it's going to be at this point. Too much? I don't know. Maybe. I'm going to put all this in here and then I'm going to strain it out. That's what I'm going to do. Because I think I probably had about, it was about the whole recipe was the amount I should have for this. And it will just be easier. This is not what the recipe says to do, but this is what I am going to do. We're getting all of this dissolved in the bourbon. All of the sugar should dissolve, and then I can just strain out the crumbly bay leaves that I screwed up. They were nice. They would have been easy to take out if I had taken them out when I first took it off the stove, but I was trying to do too much because I had another recipe I wanted to film. I'm just going to strain this out, and we're going to say it's fine. We'll see in a month whether that is the case. So we're supposed to put this, I'm going to strain this out, and we're supposed to put this into a sterilized jar. I'm just going to put it into a quart jar that I have. It's run through the dishwasher. It's fine. This will sterilize it, pretty sure. Let's get the last of it in there. I ended up with some bits of sugar that didn't dissolve. Lots of bits of bay leaves that didn't dissolve. Well, they don't dissolve. Lots of bits of bay leaves that came all apart. And this is our mixture that needs to age for a month at least. So I'm going to put a lid on this, add a label that tells me what this is, and then we put it in a cool, dark place for 1 month. So we'll be back in about a month. So we finished up our Viceroy's Old Fashioned a couple days ago. I don't even remember. I think it was 4 or 5 days ago at this point. I just didn't feel like making a drink after that, but we're ready to try it. They do say that at least 24 hours, and the longer you let it sit in this finished state, the softer it becomes. Now, it doesn't say to like stir this up gently before you drink it, so I'm not gonna do that, and this is not gonna pour very well, and it's gonna be so messy. Oh, well. But I'm making a drink for me and a drink for my cameraman back there. After some discussion, we're gonna pour some amount into here, and then I'm going to basically just cover these large ice cubes. There is no indication for how to actually serve this drink besides a picture. So I've got some Amarena cherries here that I'm going to use because there's a cherry in the picture. There's also, I think, a bay leaf as a garnish in the picture. I'm not going to do that because that's just wasteful, and it's, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of pretty, but whatever. It's going to be fine. It smells like bourbon. So I'm just going to pour it in here some and then cover that. So if I pour too much in here, it's clean. It can go back in there, whatever. The recipe doesn't say to mix it up, so I didn't, even to like gently shake it. So I think that's probably enough for us tonight. That's about a drink, I think. That's how much my drinks usually are in this glass with this ice. There we go. So that was all told about a half a cup or so, a little over a quarter cup for each. It doesn't say how many drinks this makes, so we're flying blind. But this will sit until we're ready for it, and I'm going to garnish it with a cherry in each. I'm just going to Well, that's... There we go. I am not usually the drink maker in my house, so I'm not the bartender. Okay. That's our drink. That's our Viceroy's Old Fashioned. So I guess I have to taste it now. All right. So it was not chilled, so it just is getting whatever the ice has. Not shaken. Was I supposed to? It's not in the recipe. It's very good. I'm a bourbon drinker. I like it. It is not fire in your throat. It is sweet, but not too sweet. I do like a kind of sweet drink, and there is sugar, the dark brown sugar in the basically the syrup that we started with, the reduction with the green tea. So there's caffeine in this. And you can get decaf green tea as well. So if you prefer not to have an upper with your alcohol, you know, the caffeine with your alcohol, then you can do that. Yeah, I really like it. I'm glad we have it. And I'm kind of sad that if I need to make more, it's going to take a month to have more. But that's okay. That will sort of limit my consumption, which is probably not a bad thing. But it is very good. If you have a month to wait, go ahead and make this. And let me know in the comments down below what you think if you do decide to try it. Subscribe and come back and watch me make something else next week.